In previous videos, we've been trying to break down the Q-Link section on MPCX SE. So today we are going to close that chapter by introducing a new button called Project. Our Q-Link section in MPCX SE got 5 different sub-pages. One of them is screen control, another pan parameters, path scene, program. Today's topic is the project. Remember, we are brand new YouTube channel. We need your support. Please subscribe, like, and hit that bell button so you receive notifications of the future videos. These 16 buttons allow you to organize your workflow in a way you work. You can attach to them, they are touch sensitive, any function you desire. And that's powerful. Now, what kind of function you choose, it comes down to who you are as a musician, as a composer, and what do you need from that unit. Right now, when we hit project button, there is no much to it. Sequence, the name, right now it's not important. Let's do 4 bars. Tracks. We are going to do a drums first under the drum program. Now what kind of program? We will have to generate one. So we're going to browser drums. Select something you like, you can listen it. Then load. Once it's loaded, you go to main, into the program, and shift by this wheel by 1. Now the drum kit, it's available on these 16 pads for you to use. Another track. Hit the track, turn the wheel just once, name it. Let's do a bass. Bass is gonna exist under plugin program or instrument program. It's up to you. If we use the instrument program, you can go to browser, instruments, generate some sounds, interview them, load the sound you like, go to main, window, hit that keypad program, shift it by 1, and you've got the bass. This sound on the instrument program, the bass sound, it's going to be available on the pads right here and also on your keyboard if you have one. And it's there. Let's create another track. Scroll by 1, unused, piano. Under the piano, we will generate the piano from, we could generate it from instrument plugins or Instrument program or plugin program. Let's go to the plugin program because I want to show you something else. Generate a new plugin program. You can double click on plugins and then select something you like here. I'm a visual person, so I like to go to something else. See what we just did? I'm gonna go to main, I hit the sound icon, and then I've got the visual kind of representation of sounds available to me. So now I see piano, fabric piano. If I double click, I can see a variety of different flavors of that piano. Now I can see studio ground. I can't skip that. I definitely am gonna go for it. Main, and now this studio ground present, if I double click on that name, I can always change it for something else. There's a variety of different flavors of that piano available. Okay, so you can do it that way. Also, you can change the sound by using a wheel. Yeah, shift by one, shift by one, shift by one. You get the idea. Now, since we've got specific tracks in mind, we can generate the sounds. Once we have the sounds available to us, we can manipulate them. The basic idea of this project button in Q-Link section allows us to transform these 16 knobs into wherever you desire. The bottom line is you can spice things up by using these knobs. I hit project. Right now, from the bottom, they stand for volume, 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 pen, 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 mute, 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 and the last row, the top now, is off. I can hit shift and project, and then I go to sub window, what basically generates the same message to me on the screen. On the MIDI tracks, you've got a variety of different choices. Audio tracks program, return sub main. So this will be another topic for another video. Right now I want to concentrate on the MIDI tracks. Right now we've got the drums, we've got bass, we've got piano. You see, it was very worth it to name things because now they manifest right here. Okay? On the mixer, there's something called parameters. You can, right now, everything is off, but when you double click, you've got a variety of different choices like volume, pan, mute, and solo. Okay? So if you decide to change one of these buttons, all you have to do is just touch one of those. Double click and change, like volume, for example. And this button basically generated that function. It's ready to use. Okay? In order to reset that function, all you have to do just once again touch this subject of your focus and hit reset. We are going to reset all of them for now, so I'm gonna just touch, reset, touch, reset, touch, reset. So everything is gonna go back to zero. Zero function. Beautiful. Okay, so that's the drum set. It's time to fool around with the reality of that section. Now, look what happened. I could very easily, since we have the drum program right now, I could very easily generate 16 different functions what basically control that drum set to me, or generate different flavors, different effects, right? But I want to be more selective, more specific. So I could basically chop these 16 buttons to certain chapters. Like, for example, the first row, the closest to me, I could generate some effects for drum set, then effects for bass, effects for piano. You got the idea, right? All I have to do is just hit one of these buttons. And look, there's a little button in the upper right corner what says Learn. All I have to do is just click it. Now this button, previously touched, just respond to that learning idea. And it says of learning, which means it's learning my behaviors. What I mean by behaviors, I'm gonna shop for specific effects. I could do it many ways. One of the way is to go to main. The button is still learning. I go to this eye icon, what basically allows me to open up my mixer. And there's like a black square what I can touch. And I've got a variety of different effects available to me. There's 4 different effects I could place. Double click. And I can basically add something to my drum set. Modulations. Oh, we just touched the flanger, so why don't we use it? I know it's an extreme example, but it's available to us. I hit the pencil, and now look what happened. I can touch any of these buttons. When I touch them and wiggle them, this button is gonna learn about my behavior. Okay, so I'm gonna touch, I can do a double touch and wiggle this thing back and forth, and my button already learned my behavior. So now, all I have to do is just shift, project, and stop learning. Unlearn this button. So now this stands for, guess what? Headroom in my flanger. So when I play, it's gonna add that flanger to me, and now I'm gonna just fool around with that function. In order to add another effect, anything you want, all you have to do is just touch the button you like, learn, go to main, click the effects, add the effects, add the high pass filter, for example, go to pencil, and then play with the resonance. You wiggle the resonance button, and the button just learned it. See, if I wiggle, if I use that button, the button on the screen is going to respond to my touch. Now, shift, project, unlearn. So now it's there. Okay, so this is just the extreme situation. Now, look what happened. I don't like it, reset. I don't like it, reset. And everything is back to normal. If I don't like any function, I can reset it all. Another way to make the adjustments is through Program Edit button. I already hit Shift and Program. I go to the button I like to influence. I hit Learn. That button, the specific button, is going to learn about my future behavior. And now, instead of going to the main button where the mixer is, I go to Program Edit. And then I got subpages, different subpages, what I can, everything you see on the screen, I can just grab and control through that knob. Okay, so we go to global. So to show you something extreme, something what you could use in your transitions, for example, this is a phenomenal tool to do your transitions from section to section, is the global semi button. So now I'm gonna wiggle that button, and guess what? I'm gonna just let go. My button, just learned about it. I go to Shift, Project, Unlearn. Now, my button becomes that function. So look, I play the drums. And just let's pretend that I'm coming to some kind of transition. And of 7 bar, and end of 8 bar. Beautiful. Okay, so once again, I can go to the left and go to the right. Boom. Okay, so it's a wonderful way of kind of adding extra, and boom, you know, move to the next section. Right now, everything is manual, but you can set it up to be memorized and digitally performed. There is something called momentary. When you look in the bottom of that screen to the right, there is a little square. You can mark that square. Okay, we call it a snapback. Why snapback? Because it snaps back to the value you established before you marked it. Okay, so right now the value is 0. You play the drum set. And then look, I'm gonna snap it. And when I release my finger, it snaps back to the previously established value. How cool is that? See, let's go the other way. And let go, and it snaps back. So this is a beautiful way of... And then... You get the idea. So this is a phenomenal tool to kind of play with that. We can do the same kind of work, the same kind of fooling around concept into the bass. So now I'm going to touch the second row, Shift, Program, touch a button from the second row, hit Learn, go to my bass program, and global once again. I've got another global one. So I shift program, unlearn, and now this button controls the global for the bass. The same idea. Right? Now I can snap it. So look, I set up to 0, snap back, and all of a sudden, and snap it back. You see, you can achieve a beautiful results. The most fascination, just remember, I'm doing this kind of work for you from my perspective, which means I have to bring some kind of element of my personality into that discovery process. The good news is that there is more depth to it, which we don't have to explore right now. We can basically learn the foundation of that project section first. And once you know how to control it, you can move forward towards more complicated rerouting, sending the pathways to mixer, to audio interface, mix the sounds together, etc. like creating a balance between 2 or 3 different voices, right? And add EQ, compression, some effects such as chorus and reverb. So we are going to look more into the depth of that through the piano. Under the piano, I would love to have more volume. I can go to Program button, Cooling section, find that value, and increase my volume that way. Another way to dealing with this, you're going to program edit, and you do it from the screen. Okay? Beautiful. Now this main screen of the piano plugin combines different parameters. There's 5 different sub-windows what you can visit. Every single button you hear on the screen can be attached to my project buttons. And basically I could have a function of that button under my fingertips at any time I want. Okay, so of course we can add some reverb, we can add some delay. It's very powerful because there's a compression, amplifier, flavor, phrase, tremolo, chorus. So these buttons are all available to you. Today I would love to concentrate on something called flavor and EQ. There's 2 different sections which you can basically attach these knobs to. So under the flavors, I can change the sound of the amp for something else. Let's stick to the gramophone for now. So at first, you know, I'm touching those knobs and I'm fooling around with it, and I found a button called noise. So I'm thinking, oh, this is interesting. Let's see what it does. So I increased the noise to 100%, and all of a sudden I achieved that result. And I'm thinking to myself, I would never use that button. This is too much. This is ridiculous. It's just waste of time. However, I start lowering the percentage of the noise I use, the vinyl noise. Just a little bit more. So I don't know if you notice, when you listen this video with headphones, you will receive like a sparkles of that vinyl noise here and there. Okay, so I'm thinking I could use this knob and I could use this knob in my project button section. So now all I have to do is just do a shift, project, learn, touch the button I want, program, and look, I'm gonna wiggle that button. Exactly. So now this button, you see, controls that amount of noise. So now without changing the learning ID, I'm gonna touch another button. New button is gonna learn about my new behavior. I go to the distortion and I'm gonna wiggle that too. Okay, next button, I'm gonna go to the depth. I wiggle that too. So look, once I'm done, I hit Shift, Project, Unlearn. So I've got 3 different functions. The first one, third, second, and third. So when we go to Program Edit, I can control the noise, I can control the amount of distortion and the depth. Why is it so important? Well, we already established that this doesn't sound natural. But if I use a percentage of it, it creates this vinyl flavor. Now, distortion, if I use, first, when I played it, it's just, Jesus Christ, this is terrible. Then I start fooling around with the percentage, and I realized that a tiny little bite of it actually creates a beautiful impact. Right? Okay, so this is just the beginning of that section, and you understand that you've got much more sections to go. So I could basically, I'm a huge fan of piano sound, so I could definitely use 16 of them to control these. Now, the depth button is everything to me. I fall in love with it immediately. This is like ridiculous. I can't believe that I'm actually doing this stuff. So look, the depth right now is 0. I'm playing. So this is the sound of the future. It's crispy, it's nice. Now, above this button, there's something called gramophone 1. By twisting the depth button, I can restore that sound into the gramophone sound. So I'm kind of going back to the past. More. I've got the sound of the vinyl. More sound of the vinyl. Okay, just remember this. I can always change gramophone for gramophone 2, headphones. There is something called phone mobile radio, your cell phone, and also the radio. So it's even more drastic transition. Back to the Future. Back to the Past. This project page in the queuing section gives us so much control. The possibilities are endless. I can be very overwhelmed by it. So now I'm thinking we want to be smart about how we approach it. Of course, the most of the time I want to spend is producing the music. I want to be fascinated by the music composition and music creation. This project button takes me away from composing the music. At the same time, influences the music in a way that becomes more creative and more inspiring. And this is exactly what we are trying to do here. Okay? If you want to help us out, please subscribe to this channel. You're going to receive more videos like this on a weekly basis. My name is Piotr Kowalczyk. See you next time.
Royal Composer provides students around the world with detailed musical knowledge.
Let's take the challenge out of building chords. I will show you the way.
Our signature course, Chord World, teaches you how to build chords in music. We are talking about triad 7 chords and tensions with all the inversions, 21st century stuff. With a little bit of effort, topics such as 7 chords or tensions could become your favorite topics. The Chord World provides everything you need to know about the chords in music from A to Z. No matter what style of music you create, our powerful, detailed video presentations will help your music production. If you are serious about the music creation, check out Chord World. We are here to support you and your music.